Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, good morning, Dr. Rishi. Alka Mudgal this side.
Good
Dr.
morning,
Rishi,
Alka, ma'am.
our HOI ma'am, Professor Dr. Alka Mudgal ma'am. Ma'am, yeah. Very nice to have you, on the platform here with all the pre-service teachers, in fact, the postgraduate students.
Thank you, ma'am, for the invitation.
And
Really love to join.
thank you for taking out time also, because I believe, you people are very, very busy. But right in the beginning of the session, we wanted, one counselor to actually address them, because it's very important for them to know about the industry also. It's not only the schools where they can, go, but definitely entrepreneurship definitely is one, is there for them. And they can go for guidance and counseling also in the schools. And it's not only school teaching, it can be in number of things which can be done nowadays. So Dr. Rishi, we would be, we are just eager to hear you, and how you have, progressed in your life, that also, because I think, you are associated with the schools, you are doing freelancing also, if I am correct, I don't know.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
we would love
I
to
am
know about
associated.
your journey also.
Sure, sure.
Over to the students. Please, you can start with the program.
Thank you, ma'am. So the main purpose behind organizing these sessions by inviting experts from the industry is to know about the requirement of the industry and also about certain things such as what should we do to have better job prospects, what extra qualities are required and expected out of us as job seekers. How dynamic should we to be in the present education system? What are the challenges which we will face initially and what sort of trainings should we undergo? And the most important, how can we sustain the job which we take up? On this note, we welcome our speaker, Dr. Rishi Mishra sir. It gives us immense honor and pleasure to invite our speaker. Sir has a versatile personality with in-depth understanding and knowledge. He is an academician, psychologist, career coach, and a distinguished author with more than 18 years of experience in the field. Well seasoned across an array of clients and context, have worked in both private and government run institutions and private practices. Sir has a diverse portfolio. Starting with his academic qualification, Sir has completed his B.ed from Kurukshetra University and done PG Diploma in Rehabilitation Psychology. He has then pursued MA in Psychology and qualified NET in Psychology and Human Resource Management. Post that, he has completed his PhD in Psychology from Delhi University and Doctorate in Management Study from Indian School of Business Management and Administration. Sir has also worked as an expert in different schools and university. He has also worked as a faculty at Addis Ababa University, Asmara College of Health Science, Amity University, Bennett University, EMPI Business Schools, and others. Sir has also worked as a career and behavioral counseling expert in Sun Columbus School. Also worked as a counselor, psychologist with the Ministry of Women and Child Development, organized trauma counseling camp at Nithari, Noida, to help children and families overcome the trauma after the infamous Nithari incident. Sir has a broad area of expertise and his specialization are cognitive behavior therapy, family counseling, behavior modification, autism, ADHD, obsessive compulsive disorder that is OCD, depression and substance abuse. Since January 2022, Sir is working as a visiting professor in Bennett University, Greater Noida, and an international career success coach at Launch My Career. Sir has published several research papers and articles and books in various reputed journals and publishers. Some of the books written by Dr. Rishi sir are Trust is What You Create. The book helps readers to learn the art of motivation. Another is Marriage Counseling in Indian Context. The third is like I Can't Express the Way You Want. It is a handbook on learning disability. I understand it is a handbook for parents to know their kids better. Another is Mahatma Gandhi, Relevance in Today's World. On this note, today we are blessed to have a well-known and experienced panelist with us today. Now, I would like to request and invite our sir today for this session. Over to you, sir.
A very good morning to all of you, and thank you, Asta ma'am, for such a detailed description. And so, first of all, I would like to uh, welcome all the participants. And my welcome line would be, uh, "No dreamer is ever too small." I think my voice is quite clear. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So the starting line would be, no dreamer is ever too small, and no dream is ever too big. So this is a kind of line which focuses on the mindset of the learners. So the thing is, uh, this journey for success, or this journey in the career world, uh, has to be oriented in some manner or the other. And for this orientation, the first and foremost thing is the mindset, as I told you earlier. Now, when we talk about the career aspects, the career focus, and what all we are focusing upon, there are two things which run in parallel. One thing is uh, what you decide upon, like what career you choose, and the second thing uh, is it something which you have created, or is it something which you want to enter, or is it something which is suggested by others? So that makes a big difference between all the two concepts. Now, I have focused these things on in one of my books. Uh, the title is "Truth is What You Create." So it's simply a culmination of all those elements which are involved, which are required for person to be a success in his or her career. See, taking up a career, joining as a career is one thing, and becoming a success in career is another thing. So, and I still remember when I was teaching value education at St. Columba School, and then uh, behavioral sciences at MIT at MIT University. So these are the elements which are required for someone to become a success in one's career, because behavioral sciences is being introduced in all the sections, in all the units of MIT University, and they are focusing something apart from the core academics. They are focusing on that mindset, that skill set. So to become a successful in any of the careers, we require skill set. Now we talk about the students who are in education field, uh, especially B.ed education, M.ed education, B.ed special education, M.ed special education. These are soft science. So you require a good number of skills to develop on them, because your the basis of your success in this field depends on your own endeavors, on depends on how you think out of the box. Not only thinking out of the box, but how you make the actions, how you make the things work, or what you bring to the table. That is more important. That is required. Now, I'll take an example. To work as a counselor, even if you have completed all your education, you're having all the degrees, you are having an RCI license. Now, what is required is it is required that we need to understand that it is an internet era. We have entered into the sixth industrial revolution, in which we are like literally dancing with the artificial intelligence. So when we have entered into that field, so why not we upgrade ourselves? First of all, second thing is, why not we make use of this technology? Now, when making use of technology would mean like a student who has just passed out his or her B.ed in education or a degree in education, what this person is required to do is to sharpen one skill. because there are number of skills which are required. Like when you talk about teaching, now what is your teaching methodology? That has to be focused upon. Now suppose I am going to teach someone. So first of all, I need to understand what kind of learner I am. If I am a visual learner, then I need to put my hands on or improve my expertise in something which will help me learn and let me teach someone who is a visual learner. Now, there is a concept called mind maps. We all have heard about mind maps. I also was working on mind maps. I was not aware like what is the basics, what are the essential elements in a mind map. Mind map requires a specific technique. They have a specific system. Like you go from right to left, then you go from top to bottom, and then there is a mechanism in creating a mind map, and then you need to focus on key elements in a mind map. This mind map thing is helpful for someone who is a visual learner, and by creating mind maps, if you are a teacher, if you are into a teaching field, you can create unique mind maps which will help those learners which are differently abled. Not only those learners which are differently able, but all the average learners who are there, maybe they are not able to take in the content in the same manner as is given in the books. So that is your advantage. Since you know what is the cognitive component involved in it, since you know about the Bloom's taxonomy, which tells you about, okay, these factors should be considered to create a curriculum, to design a course, and to make things effective for the learners. So if you can use that taxonomy, if you can use those principles of mind maps, you can create your own existence, you can create your own mark in the career field. Because now, since we have a plethora of people who are well qualified, the only thing is required is how you are contributing to the world around you, how you are contributing to the society. That is what is required. So we all need to have micro specialization in what all we do. Suppose if someone is good in counseling, then again that person needs to have a micro specialization. Okay, if you are focusing on counseling, okay, are you good at child counseling? Maybe you have a lot of interaction with the children during your growing stages, and then even when you were studying, or you had more interest in solving the problem of children. So then you can focus, okay, I am more specialized in child counseling. Again, if I have been dealing with people having marriage issues, then I can say I am more specializing myself into marriage counseling. Now, here lies the difference. Normally people think, okay, I have done this degree, then I can go and join any organization which is offering the counseling services. But again, to be a career success, what is required is that you take out an area in which you really are good at, in which really you can make your mark. That will define the degree of success you will attain. And this kind of opportunity was not available for all of the people in the earlier ages, in the earlier era of time. Now it is more available because you have the technology, you have the LinkedIn, you have the different platforms over there in which you can showcase your expertise. So the sooner the better. The sooner if you start on identifying your expertise areas, your core areas, the better you will land up in a better successful field. And again, the topic is truth is what you create. Now similarly, now the main agenda is you create your own career avenues. So that is the main thing. Now again, we talk about the growing demand of a career counselor growing demand of a behavioral counsel in the schools. In the upcoming schools. Now we don't have only the CBSE schools, we have the IB schools, we have the IGCSE schools. Now they, and even the government over there, even the administration, even the policies over there, they are highlighting the importance of having a compulsory counseling sessions. So for that, again, when we have plethora opportunities coming up, what is required is how we showcase ourselves. At university level, at the school level, we have developed many other qualities. So it is the time to showcase them. So that is where we required a well-prepared CV. Now, well-prepared CV would entail not including everything, what you have attained, what you have done, what your interests are, but prioritizing things. So on an average, every recruiter takes not more than 3 seconds in shortlisting and going through your CV. So don't make this task painful for the recruiters. That is a key message I would like to give to all the students. Make it convenient for the person, because psychologically also you can see, if I make things convenient for someone around me, someone in front of me, I am making his or her job simple. And when I do this thing, then my CV automatically gets highlighted. I'll share one of the experiences I had while going through the answer sheets of the people, of my students, and every time I've been checking these answer sheets, this thing gets highlighted in my mind, is that when I am checking the answer sheets, nowadays, a very beautiful technique students have adopted. They make it like a textbook. So when you start going through the answer sheet, you will have the first page which says index and page number. So this student has really helped me out in getting to know, okay, what kind of person the student is while writing the answer. So the student has systematically arranged everything. So this is the index, this is the question number, this is the answer. So the moment I look at the answer sheet, okay, fine, my job is done. I need not search questions here and there. Similarly, when you are presenting a CV to someone, it is just like presenting your answer sheet to someone. So that person needs to know how serious you are. And by serious, I don't mean grim. It's just like serious in the micro elements. Now, the concept of coming up nowadays is a video CV. So people really want to get to know you. Now, when you introduce yourself, when I talk about video CV, this is a new concept and a very unique concept. So how you prepare your video CV. So I had this exercise with around 200 or 300 odd students. So I told them, okay, you prepare your video CV randomly. So they prepared their video CV, and for some it was a brilliant thing I could see. For some, they needed some improvement. So what is the key elements when you talk about video CV? You need to start on with your introduction with a very unique line. One example I always give is that if suppose I'm a chartered accountant, so if I present myself in a video CV, okay, hello, I am so and so, and I'm a chartered accountant. I have this much amount of experience, or these are the degrees which I have done. Dash. Over. Second scenario, I have someone who says, hello, I love to count on numbers, so you can count on me. My name is XYZ and I'm a chartered accountant. So what you're doing is, you are creating, now what you're doing is, it says first impression is the last impression. So presenting yourself is the first impression of the first impression. So what it means is, this is the penultimate. When your starting lines are good, when you catch my attention, when you catch the attention of the recruiters, so what you're doing is, you're highlighting yourself. to. The important thing is what all you have done is how you highlight yourself. Do you start with data? Do you start with a quote? Do you start on with something unique about yourself? That makes your mark. The same thing applies to someone who is applying in universities outside for a higher education thing. The professors over there, they are selecting your CV for a higher education. It is not any other office administration. It is the professors themselves. They are selecting the CV of the child. Now, and it is an unpaid job. So you have thousands of CVs to be sorted out and shuffled every day. Now, what you do is you quickly give a glance to it. And on an average, it is 3 seconds. So in 3 seconds, what I retain more is a visual CV rather than a plain written CV. Even in a visual CV, I need to know what is the area, what are the key areas, what I have contributed to. Now, there is a big difference. When I say that I have done this, they're not looking at that. They're looking at what are the things, what I have contributed to, how I've immersed myself as someone who is quite concerned about it, someone who loves to lead in that area, someone who loves to be an expert in that area. Again, so these are the essential elements. So apart from the core academics, what you require is know-how, mindset, and skill. So what is that skill? You develop one skill. Suppose you are in a teaching stream. Now you have a particular subject. You have social sciences as your subject. You have English as your subject. Okay, well and good. Okay, so what apart from the normal curriculum you have done? Have you written a journal on it? Have you written an article on it? Have you written a book on it? Have you written a page on it? So this means that have you extended your muscles of aspiration to something beyond, to something which was normal. So how you have, so this means that it is a kind of attitude they are looking at. So what is your attitude towards something which you love to do? So is it an attitude of care? Is it an attitude of something you really want to do it? That makes it different. Now, suppose someone is into the education field. Now, if that student focuses upon something, some project, some initiative a student has taken, or some extra edge, like if you talk about skills. Now, there are skills which you can cover in all the online platforms. Skills of creativity, a skill of emotional intelligence. Apart from that, there are other micro skills like skills of presentation. So how would you present something to the children? How will you identify what is the learner over there? So are you aware of, even if you want to join a school, are you aware if someone asks, okay, you want to join a school, how do you define a good school? So that is a question which you could have focused when you started on with your journey towards a bachelor's of education or master's of education. How would you define a good school? So, like if I say that definition of good school would be that any visitor could walk in any classroom and then ask a student that what are you doing, and if that student is able to answer what are you doing, the next question would be why you're doing it. So this give us an element, okay, a good school. Again, if someone enters into that school and then focus, okay, what is a good school? So then one major factor would be that if you ask the student that if you were not in this classroom with this particular teacher, where would you be? So if you get that answer that I can't imagine myself uh, without this teacher at this moment of time in the classroom. So this gives a mark that the teacher is really good. So it is not the data which your students are looking for. It is your connect. It is your ability to connect with the students, which the students are looking for, and not also this thing, your ability to connect with the interviewer, which is required, because it is automatic. If you are able to connect with the interviewer uh, easily and in a deeper sense, then automatically you will be able to connect with the student also. So these are some of the nuances. Now, when you talk about the career diversity in field of education, it is immense. Now you can, apart from the normal school related jobs like career counseling and then behavioral counseling, and then you have the teaching aspects. Apart from that, uh, what you can do is you can again start on with these concepts like training people, training students in terms of mind maps, helping them create mind maps. Second thing would be you can start on with uh, teaching someone in a particular skill. Now, suppose you entered into that field and then you mastered upon preparing a good CV, or you mastered upon preparing a video CV. Then you start training to the students, teaching students, okay, how you prepare that good visual CV, how you prepare that video CV, then how you can get success in that one. So these are the upcoming fields. So, and there is no end to it. The more you keep on focusing on that, the more ideas you can generate for yourself. Things which have helped you, you can utilize them to help others. And one day, this will happen that you will start growing in that area. So there is a book called Deep Learning. If we go and read that book. If I'll have time, I'll share that link of that book. This book tells us a very important thing, that we have been doing all the things, we have been doing everything, but have we been prioritizing what we want to do? That requires deep learning. It gives us example of people like Bill Gates, who will go out for 3 or 4 months or 1 or 2 months out of their office, and then in some remote island, and then you'll start thinking. It was at that moment of those thinking processes, he could imagine that internet would actually rule everything. So he started working in that sphere. You talk about any of the scientists, you talk about Aristotle. He had a separate schedule set up for deep thinking. So what is that? Even in when we deal with the academics, even if we deal with careers, even when you deal with our own self, there is a requirement of deep thinking. Deep thinking would involve, uh, if we talk about deep thinking in our whole day, we'll say that there is a very small percentage of time in which we do a deep thinking. Now, suppose there is a vacancy coming up, we what we do is directly uh, spread the same CV across everywhere. So what happens is uh, you don't get the result as expected. So the difference is every job requirement is different. So you need to change, and then you need to put the priority list accordingly as per the job demands. Second important thing which the students can do, we've already done their schooling, means their education element. What they can do is they can go over the LinkedIn platform. They can look out what are the job requirements over there, and then as per the demand, as per the requirement, find out, okay, in which area you are good at. So it is about highlighting your important showcase. So two important elements are preparing yourself for the right job. Second thing, are you preparing for a job or for a career. There is a big difference between these two things. If we prepare ourselves for a career, we are really going towards a path of success. But suppose we are preparing ourselves for a job only, then we need to rethink, because it says that if you go towards your goal, 100% commitment would at least ensure that you get at least 60, because there are various extraneous factors which we cannot deny. Similarly, when you are preparing for a career, then preparing for a job is quite easy, because you have already filled in all the elements and then you are ready to go. So similarly, for those who are uh, in the university system, they need to understand that the difference between your success and failure is only a matter of mindset and skill set. So there are a number of skills which we are only talking about. Now again, skill set. What all skills are required? Communication skills. So it is not that simple communication skill. Okay, I am good at speaking English or Hindi, and uh, use I can utilize this thing, and I need not prepare more on it. Even if you have prepared something more on it, because some people ask me, okay, sir, how can I improve my communication skills? I tell them one important thing. Instead of just focusing on the communication skill, focus on the ideas. You need to have good ideas. You need to have a plethora of jargons, plethora of phrases which you can use, which will create your mark, which will help you to carve out that kind of qualities which you have ingrained in yourself. So that is why they say ideas rules the world, because you need to convey to the people that I am looking out for ideas, I have ideas, and this is the way I frame these thoughts. So these uh, powerful words are important, because the more you dwell into it, the more they uh, attach to your personality, and then they help you create yourself. So this is one important thing which I'll like to say is, instead of focusing on things, focus on ideas. Uh, and then next thing is, when you go into counseling, when you go into behavioral counseling, the first important thing is uh, you need to have a better know-how of the human mind. Human mind is that the children over there, uh, they, I remember someone giving a quote, and it says that children are divine caught red-handed. So if you use this ideology, then you can be a success in career field, in the field of counseling, career counseling or behavioral counseling. The children are very good readers of your own emotions. So you need to have control of them. You need control of them means is that you really need to understand, okay, what is the thing I'm going to deliver to the students. So teaching students and counseling, they are like a parallel kind of things running around you. They are quite similar to each other, but there is a subtle difference between them. Teaching students would involve, nowadays teaching is more of a facilitation. So recently I saw a picture in which it was shown that uh, ducklings are going in front and the duck is going at the back. So this is a teacher. So ducklings are your students. They are going in front. So your role is facilitate them and help them learn and grow. So the earlier thing was the teacher was uh, controlling everything, guiding everything, but now is the knowledge era. Your students have the access to all the knowledges and fast knowledges, because you're watching YouTubes and everything. Your role is to direct them that which is most important and which is not important. So this kind of role of a facilitator. Now again, when you talk about the counselor, what is the role of the counselor? A good listener. The first thing which comes to my mind is counselor is a good listener. And good listener means listening someone without bias. So slowly and slowly, when you enter into the field of counseling and when you grow yourself into the field of counseling, what you understand is that in the process of counseling, you also get reformed. So that is the beauty of this counseling process. So when I get feedback from the students, when I see connect with the students, so then I really enjoy my life. And in the upcoming time, in the upcoming era, uh, it is becoming a very good career option. What I will say is because you have your own arena, you are rewarded for being connected with someone. So when you are able to connect yourself with the students, you get rewarded not only in terms of the monetary benefits and all those things, but also in terms of your spiritual upliftment. So when you say that are there job opportunities where you have best of both the worlds, that you have time and money? Yes, I can say yes. These are the opportunities which you can have because you don't feel constrained. When you really enjoy the process of counseling, time would be a secondary thing for you because you enter into that arena, into that office with a sense of joy, and you take a lot of learnings with you at the end. And then your counselors would be a connect throughout your life. So this is something which uh, a career personnel is really enjoying and doing. Now talking about teaching, again, I know it is a challenging job, but again, the more you evolve yourself and the faster you evolve yourself. There is a saying which says that fail fast and fail better. It is very important and relevant to all of us. If we want to create something, if we want to try on with something new, we need to do it fast. Because if we don't have a sense of time, then we will fall into the prey in which everyone has fallen. We'll fall into the prey of that churning wheel. You enter into a career, you spend off your life doing something over there, doing something over there, but there is no escalation. Now, the escalation is not from outside. Usually, people feel escalation is from outside, but it is from your own inner self. So, if you are enjoying working over there, then that is career. And if you are just working over there, just waiting for the right moment to come, just waiting for that good escalation to be handed over to you, then that is just doing the line. That is not a career. So if you start making that career options, if you start creating those career options, uh, then you really enjoy life. And then next, talking about the career fields and options. Now it is at the hands of the learner. It is at the hand of the students to create awareness. Now, again, similarly, when I talk about my own self, uh, when I gathered experiences and I had an interaction with Professor Uday Parekh, late Professor Uday Parekh, who is like the father of HR in India. He at that time he told me that you should start writing your experience. You should start writing your books. That was I'll say around 2006 or 7. I don't remember the date, but it was sometime around 2007. He told me that you should start writing on with this thing. And then later on, when I started with my journey, when I worked with the various organizations, I dwell into this process. I thought uh, it is always good to pen down your experiences so that you share with people at the same moment of time. So similarly, if you are very enthusiastic about a career, like counseling as a field or uh, even teaching as a thing, you should start writing on it. And it is a slow process, but it will definitely give you results. So are there things which will help me create my own career? Yes, there are. You have the platform over there, you have the media over there. This is one thing. Second thing is you have the opportunity to learn new skills. Like nowadays, I'm learning a skill called the UFX designing and all that. So it is not that I'm going to start, I will start designing and all that, but it will give me more information and it will help me lead into a particular thing so that if I have students who really love designing, I can guide them on that issue. So it is a kind of connect which you can create. And again, a very important thing is uh, we all should not lose humor out of this whole process, because this whole process uh, may look quite serious, but actually it's not. It's not that quite serious. It is more a process of passion and your commitment towards your own self. So I have started a podcast series. The title of the series is Nothing But Success. So in this topic, uh, one podcast series I still remember, and because I'm focusing on developing more and more of that, is self love. So it is very less talked about that what kind of self love you have. If you have self love for your own self, then you will stretch out from your normal comfort zone and try to grasp what is important for you, and then try to understand, okay, here I need to slow down, here I need to get fast. Because uh, if we don't respect our own self, if we don't respect our own success, then this will happen, this is bound to happen, that we'll fall prey into the circumstances. So every career choice has challenges, but they say that if you want to be successful, you need to, uh, there is a saying which is that you need to focus on your aspirations, not your history. If you start focusing on your history, you are going to be doomed. And that is a dangerous path. And again, when you say about success, so when you consider your path of success uh, as a linear path, then again you're going to be doomed. It is not linear. So success always goes from failure to success. It never goes from success. Because now again, thing much talked about nowadays is you should learn to fail. If you not learn to fail, then uh, the height of your success won't be that much. So failure, in the sense, even if you start learning with a skill, if you want to be successful, you start learning with skills. Okay, let me learn. Okay, is there a course on public speaking? Is there a course on micromanagement? Is there a course on what I'll say is Bloom's taxonomy? Is there a course on how to be an effective teacher? If I start learning with something, I will definitely face some challenges. I definitely would need to overcome that. Next thing, an important thing is to learn a foreign language. We at this time are at the same age when people in India were focusing upon, yes, you should know English as a language. But now the next era has begun. Your focus should be to learn any foreign language, be it French, be it German, be it Spanish, or be it Korean. Because now we have lots of international schools coming up. So not only you can start on with your teaching as a subject specialist, but also you can start on your teaching with a language specialist. And MIT has this benefit for the students and the learners that it provides foreign languages. So don't, students, I would request, don't take it as a foreign language. Take it as your uh, part of your mother tongue. Learn it as if you are a native speaker. Once you start learning it as a native speaker, it will become your part. It will You will become habitual to it. And that expertise is required nowadays. So how would you differentiate two people passing on from the same college, having the same degree, having the same amount of academic background? One is successful to this level, and the other one is successful to this level. The only difference is the skill set, the skills that the person has input, and the mindset. Now, mindset again I talked about earlier. It's all about your attitude, your emotional structure, your ability to fight on with the challenges, resilience. So this is the mindset, and that mindset would come over a period of time. Now, skill set again, when you know these languages. So if you enter into IB school, you say, okay, am uh, I have done this, and this is a foreign language in which I specialize into. So even if you are not teaching that foreign languages, there are Korean students, there are German students, there are French students, there are students who want to go to France for a higher study. There are students who want to go to Germany for a higher studies. There are students who want to go to Korea for higher studies, because nowadays uh, the makeup courses over there in Korea, they are doing brilliantly, and they have specialized themselves into uh, the facial makeups and all those things. So many students are interested even after their schooling to go and get a degree from Korea. So are you having any of those languages which is required by people over there? Because if I know German, I need some mentor, some teacher to correct me my German language, or to talk to me in German languages, and I'll love to be in that environment. So that is how we become known in the international world. And slowly by slowly, yesterday there was news that the Indian degrees, graduate and BA, MA, they are accepted in UK. So that equivalency is going on, and the world is shrinking down. So it is not far enough. Okay, we are sitting in this part of this world, and we are not connected. No, we are getting connected. In the internet has given us the facility to connect with each other. So can we utilize this concept? Yes, we can utilize this. Only by knowing that I need to do something different, which is out of the league. And that difference is not difficult to do. You can download the app. Memorize is an app. It's a very good app. You can have other Duolingo app. You can download that app and start learning that language. So what is the thing out of the box you are doing? The universities over there, they're providing you everything. Uh, the only thing is required is uh, what you shortlist as a career. So this is one aspect. And then the second aspect, again, I would reiterate, is the mindset. If the student has a different mindset, then things won't turn out beautifully. Because see, career success is really different thing. You can become a career success as a career counselor. You can become a career success as a psychologist. You can become a career success as an educator. You focus on a particular subject. Even when you talk about English language, there is a dearth of good communicators. There is a dearth of good teachers who can teach you language, because conventional teacher would speak, okay, this is noun, pronoun, grammar, and everything. But you can become that kind of teacher which will teach the students language based on ideas, and then the correct pronunciation would only come when I start focusing myself on the keywords. And are there teachers over there who can help the students correct their pronunciation? So pronunciation experts are missing. Then you have the language experts are missing. And as a student of bachelor's education, master's education, you have been equipped with all those things, because you know These are the nuances of a language, and this is the way a learner learns, and then this is given. This is the way you can motivate a learner. You combine all those things, all three things together, and you come out as a pronunciation expert. So you name it and you can have it. You name a skill and then you can have it. It's this skill as a skill in which you are expert in. You talk about French language. So people over there are struggling to learn the French languages. There are teachers who are teaching French languages, but are there teachers who are teaching in a different manner altogether? So are we having teachers which are using the mind maps to teach French language? So this is the place where we can culminate and involve all those things and combine all those things to give us a new result. And the more we start thinking in terms of okay, what we can give to people which is not there. So this is called as finding out the gray areas. So you can be an entrepreneur when you find out those gray areas which are not being covered by anyone else. Like hardly you will find people around you who are video CV coaches. They are not there. They're just courses over there, and the learner starts doing it, but there is no one to give a feedback. Okay, this is right, this is wrong. And then uh, again, in terms of teaching and learning, mathematics teacher, I'll say, is there a mathematics teacher who is using a mind map? No, you don't have a mathematics teacher using a mind map. And there is there a mathematics teacher who is teaching you how to create a mind map and how to learn those formulas? Now, we the thing is, even in terms of the NEET entrance examination, biology, a the book NCRT looks very small. 11th and 12th only one book. But you go in deep into it, there are lots of things which anyone would not be able to retain. So is there someone who is helping the students create a mind map? And this thing can be done beautifully by those who have done bachelor's in education rather than those who have just read MSc zoology or MBBS or any other thing, because they are not aware of these techniques. They have not worked upon these techniques. But as a student of bachelor's education or a master's of education, you can start developing that skill from nowadays onwards. So see, it's very simple. Combining two different things together and creating a very good result. And you understand the same thing. If you start getting expert in that one, the schools in CBSE, they are hiring teachers who can teach for the NEET and IIT, JEE, chemistry and physics, and they're getting paid handsomely. So is this only someone, and then they are not focusing only on someone who has done engineering or medical science. They want someone who can give results. So in your own school, if you are going to teach mathematics even to students of class 6, 7th, and 8th, so can you start on something new? Even in that school, you can start on extra classes for those biology students in which you can teach mind maps to those biology students. So it is, you can see the field is vast open, but the only thing is mindset. Okay, I am a teacher of English. I can only teach English. That is a problem with our own self. That we restrict our own self. We say, oh, no, okay, I am born to do this. I can do only this one. If you look at those teachers over there, like Mr. Pandey is there, he's teaching physics to people over there. What he does is, apart from teaching physics, he is motivating the students in terms of reality. That this is the reality which you focus upon. So teachers, there are lots of physics teachers, but why he is being like focused, why he is being more popular, of his ability to connect with the students. So these are the aspects. Like behavioral sciences is there at MIT. There, from that thing, you can learn the ability to connect with the students, and then connect and create. So every career has two C's: connect and create. If you connect with someone, you create something, and then you create something. Then again, you're able to connect with more and more and more, and then you have created a mark for your own self. these are the essential features which are often not considered by the learners. So take your subjects as your task. I will request all those students. So these are not only subjects. Connect themselves to something called as career. If you're able to connect this thing to a career, you will create a new thing. And as we see all across, there is no dearth of entrepreneurs. They are coming up. They're coming up with unique ideas. And education is a field in which you can come up with infinite ideas because everyone requires it. Everyone requires the same thing to be quite simple. But like I'll talk about one computer scientist. This computer scientist is quite focused and he's into deep work. What his task is, I'll tell you. He reads and comprehends all those complex computer science books and then converts them into a simple language which every listener or learner can understand. So his task is simplifying. So as an educationist, our task is to simplify and create something very novel, very attractive, very unique, which anyone or and everyone would love to learn and listen. So this is why my focus is to help you create something. Because if you again join the bandwagon, okay, B.ed, okay, the vacancy is there, let me apply, and I'm the next candidate. Okay, so this is my job. If you go with that kind of passive attitude, you won't be a career success. It would be something called as joining the bandwagon, joining the lead, and this 90% of the people are doing because it is a common mindset. If you talk about in terms of psychology, I don't want to go deep into psychology, but this is what we call as the group think. Okay, let me do that thing also. So why not? We all have unique abilities. We have unique identities. Why not we combine those things and create something? So that is why you say if you love the job, what you do, what you are doing, and what you are focusing upon is there won't be a next day in which you feel like working. So you have to create that kind of environment. And there would always be hassles, there would always be problems, which will, the only task of this problem is to let you leave that kind of thing. But instead of focusing on problem, in one of my podcasts I covered is what we do is we start focusing on the problems we face in front of career fields. But uh, when we focus on the problems, when we are focusing on the problems, I would say that we are not focused on success. We have not uh, created a deep love for our own self, deep love for what kind of career success we want to become. That is why we are focusing on the problem. So it goes side by side. You're working towards your career as well as creating a strong mindset. A strong mindset would not involve like being robust and then being arrogant and like being defensive. Problem is at times we become defensive because if one because I had experiences with people I because they wanted to enter into a job of teaching. They were into some other field and they wanted to enter into a job of teaching. So then I told them, see, you have to make certain changes because every job has separate requirements. If you want to teach something, you have to be presentable. You have uh, to create a unique style of your own. You need to be someone to whom someone wants to listen. So that things you have to make. But problem is because of the mindset issue, the person says, no, sir. Now I cannot change my teaching style. Now I cannot improve on this thing. That is the problem. So when we are open to experiences, open to learning, because if we consider ourselves as a constant learner, The moment we were born and the moment till our end, we will all be learners. So we educationists are not different. We are the people who define that yes, we are learners, and then we are connected with the learners, and we are in that process of learning. Be it a psychologist, be it a career counselor, be it a teacher, be it a university professor. So even when you enter into that university field, what is required is, because the teaching job is quite strenuous, because it requires a lot of cognitive effort on your own part. Again, what you need is to be a good learner, because once you are into that profession, the problem is then we only get on and start reading with our subject materials. That is the place where we stagnate, because stagnation is not from outside. Stagnation is always from our own self. And this needs to be constantly reminded, even when you start focusing on preparing for your net examination. And then again, preparing for those net examination would involve you be a deep thinker in the sense you set out a certain moment of time in focusing that how much can you revise, because any chapter, any concept, all the learners can read, but how much content can you revise? Again, mind maps thing would be very helpful. I can hand you over some few books on mind maps, and these books are not simply describing about the beauty of the mindset. These books are describing, okay, how can you create a mind map, and then what are the elements involved? What are the key features you should look in creating a mind map? Because I still remember certain things which I read around 20 years back. What was that? I created certain tags. I attached certain tags to it. Like if I talk about the essential amino acids, then I have valine, leucine, isoleucine, lysine, methionine, threonine, tryptophan. So I attached certain tag. I called it Valil PMTT. So I still remember that was read by me 20 years back. So it is not that that studies and things are difficult. Only the thing is we need to identify what kind of learners we are. And again, when we appear for an interview, again, if we are able to, if we have that knack of identifying people, then we will also identify what kind of learner the person taking my interview is, so that I may present things in the same manner in which he or she can uh, imbibe or take in. So similarly, if I see a person who is good at uh, visual collections, and if as a student, if as an interviewee, I start giving answers, okay, I start giving answer in terms of data, then I'm really disturbing that person. I need not enter that quarrel and quagmire of data collection and then data spreading to someone. Okay, sir, I have taught 3,000 learners, and so you cannot quantify anything. So these are the essential elements. Uh, I'm trying to cover up all these things in my podcast so that it's free to all, then everyone can listen and learn. And it is not my own creation. I've been gathering all these things from books. Like again, I tell you, as an educationist, you can also enter into a field called as uh, the logic corrector, someone who corrects logics of people. As an educationist, you can become that. So you can start on with something called as uh, winning arguments logically, because not all of us are good at winning the arguments. Sometimes we feel that winning the arguments is not for me. I am a quiet and simple guy. I don't want to argue with someone. But in the real world, there is a scenario where you need to have a mark in terms of conversation. So, as an educationist, you can be the one who can, if you are good at it, you can help people and lead that thing. So, how you win an argument again requires certain psychological logics. If you go over to the internet, there are books over there. You can read them, you can master over them, you can do Coursera or LinkedIn or any other university courses over there, which are focusing on how to develop an argument, how to win an argument, or how to uh, negotiate with people. You can even teach it to the marketing guys over there, because as an educationist, these are the essential elements which a human mind takes in. These are the cognitive elements. If you are able to teach the students over there, then the world outside is not different. They all have been through the stage of being a student. So they all had their problems. Maybe something stagnated over there, so they are not able to converse with people easily. Or maybe the doctors are labeling, okay, he is mentally slow and all those things and dot dash dash. But maybe there can be a learning issue. And then later in the stage, you can correct someone. So, uh, so as discussed earlier, that there is no plethora, there is no uh, shortage of these things. It is only for us to create these things. And even if you focus on each and every element, then there are certain books which will help you to develop that language also. So I think now I can open up the dais for questions and answers. And if any question is there which is like slowly creeping to everyone's mind, you can ask me. In fact, we can discuss that thing. Maybe I will also get more insight into what I have been working into, and then I will create something more on that one.
Thank you, sir, for such a insightful session, and thank you for sharing your experiences with us. Thank you for sharing the practical knowledge, especially the ones that you mentioned about CV, with specific focus on the examples which you cited, and also the need and importance of showcasing our personality in the best possible manner, so that the person who is recruiting us gets to see what is the best potential in us. And then your views on micro specializations were also there, which were indeed enlightening. And your opinions about the elements of good school, like the whats and the whys and the wheres, were also helpful. I think there are a lot of takeaways from your session, especially the one in which you mentioned about focusing on ideas, spiritual development, aspirations, and not history. So I think I have a complete list of what to take and what to think about after the session gets over. But the major takeaway for me on a personal ground was when you cited that there is a difference between a success and failure in the matter of mindset and skill set, and also the importance of self love. So, this was my personal key takeaway. Now, I request the audience to kindly come up with the questions, as the question forum is open for all. You can raise your hands. Yes, sir. We have one question from Monica Mishra. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
can go forward with your question.
Good morning, sir.
Good
First
morning.
of all, thank you very much for such a enlightening session, and I have noted down a lot of points, and certainly will be using that pretty soon. So, my question to you is that as teachers, when we teach in school, the syllabus that we are provided is pretty much the same every year, so we have to teach the same. It's the same textbook, the same syllabus, only the students, the batch changes. So as a teacher, how do I make it interesting for a new batch, because I'm teaching the same thing over and over again? So how do I make changes? How do I make it more interesting? That's what I want to ask.
Yeah. So, first of all, thank you for putting a very pertinent question in front of all of us. Uh, so, one important thing which I can say is that uh, every batch has a unique set of learners. They may be visually oriented, they may be auditorily oriented, and their orientations might be different. Second thing is uh, connecting the element with the current scenario. Again, that makes important because every new batch is facing a different current scenario, a different scenario altogether. Like if you talk about the pre-COVID and post-COVID batch, and then we talk about the pre-COVID and the COVID batch, what was the difference? The environmental socio-cultural aspect were different for both of them. So when we talk about the post-COVID students, they need something in that teaching lesson of yours which will help them to channelize their time, because now every learner is more clinged and attached to the online devices. So they need something out of that thing. Again, what is required now for an educator is to make that elements in that subject, in that concept live. If now if we take about any subject, if I talk about history, you are teaching the revolt of 1857. I remember taking a class in a government school on a topic on revolt of 1857. I started introducing the mind map concept over there. So again, a learner from a rural area, and I am a person from the urban area. I wanted to teach revolt of 1857 to them, Hindi medium math. So I told them, okay, uh, now suppose you have in your house uh, a vegetable has come which you are very fond of. You are fond of bindi, and if your mother says no, today I will not prepare bindi, then what will you do? Then the students say, and then I said, I give a slight hint to that child. Would you get agitated? She said yes. Then I'll be angry. Why you're not preparing bindi for me? Similarly, I told them in that time also, 1857 revolts, the Britishers over there were not giving the person their rights. So what they started is this the similar kind of revolt which you are doing is they also started doing the same thing. So that was a process of connect. So every new batch has a different kind of environment. Every new batch faces a different kind of news over there. So if you are able to connect that news with that person, so then I'll say that we as an educator won't be repeating the same thing over and over again. And again, our own material would get revised. And then again, if we start on creating a mind map and a different mind map for every generation, because mind maps are learner centric. And if a learner if suppose if you take a survey in your class and then you ask and you collect the data, okay, how many people are visual learners, how many are auditory learners, so again you can create an audio lecture series for that one and you can mail it to them. So some of the learners who are auditorily oriented, they will get to know your lessons better, and maybe they will be correcting and then they will be teaching uh, the other fellow beings who are not auditorily oriented. So in this way, you spread the culture of education rather than uh, taking in all the burdens of education as an educator. So I think this suffices some part of your question.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
Yes,
Thank you so
Anuruddha.
much, sir. We have one more question from Anurupa.
Yes, ma'am. Please ask me.
Good morning, sir. Sir, I have a very practical question to ask, sir. Sir, as employees, sir, when we enter the any industry, sir, it is very important, sir, to sustain that particular job. We need to diversify. But sir, what
Right.
happens is if we keep on diversing, no, sir, somewhere our promotion criteria gets affected. Now, for example, if I join as a language teacher, and down the line 3 years I join as, let's say, a commerce teacher in any school. So when that promotion thing will happen, might be the person who has been there as a commerce teacher for a longer duration will be valued more as compared to me. So sir, how do we tackle that? I mean, sir, there are midlife crises and all which happen. People want to diversify, but then this fear that their promotions and all will get affected, they take a step back. How do we deal with that, sir? I mean, what do you suggest?
Let me put up with my headphone. Yeah, I'm audible now.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So, see, one thing is there that, uh, as I told earlier, that there would always be challenges in your career field. Now, one thing is there, even in spite of these challenges, uh, we should keep on implementing our own strategies. Because, see, ultimately, in any job front, what is more important and essential is our own confidence.
Yes, sir.
Because if I've been handed any task, if I've been uh, required to do certain amount of task, at the end of the day, if I have confidence in doing that, I'll do it collectively and do it to the correct level. But if all the things or the little things over there, if they keep on bothering me, and if I keep focus on those things which I cannot control, then the problem would be I will lose focus on those things which I am really good at. So every job and every task is actually a challenge. That challenge is not from outside. So as we say, the competition is not from outside, it's from within. So if we uh, keep on developing our own potentials, if we keep on uh, expressing our own self, like if you say that if you are good in English language, and if I keep on expressing myself, even if there is no one to listen, but there would be time that people uh, would actually love me for my qualities, love me for my out of the box approach, or love me from a cross culture or cross demand approach. Because nobody would tell you that as a commerce teacher that you should also focus on some other things. But at the end of the day, if someone who is at the top end, if he gathers a lot of data about you, if he gathers a lot of endeavors which you are taking to cross that, because at times people over there are looking at your leadership skills. Now, leader is not someone who only leads, but leader is a person who has this capacity and confidence to create what one desires. So maybe this is the time where that leadership quality has to come out of you. Maybe this is the demanding time which you are not able to identify. If you identify that this is the time where I create my own thing, because leaders are creators. So much talked about and being much, I'll say this word has been much abused, but the real sense is the servant leadership. If you talk about the servant leadership concept, it applies everywhere. So when you talk to yourself and say to yourself, my task is to serve, my task is my students, then I'll be creating those things which people will start realizing. Because my focus is to make my students apart from the others. Because then my work will speak, then the students will speak. Then I need not re-emphasize or reiterate my importance to the organization. The people around, they will emphasize and they will create it. So it's I'll say is uh, it's the hustles and bustles when one faces when one starts creating yourself. And if you focus on these hustle bustles, and then based on that feedback, if you stop creating yourself, then that won't be justice to the career. Yeah. So that's all what I'll say in short.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, we have another one. Monica Chauhan.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma'am.
Sir, actually, I would like to ask a general question. Can you recommend some books which make different from others in the way of presentation?
Okay. So there is one book I'm quite fond of it. That is the called as the Rule of 10x by Grant Cardone. So this book, ma'am, would really help you change your mindset. It helped me change my mindset a number of times. Uh, because earlier we all were focusing on books related to spiritual upliftment and the other things. But now our focus is to get that mindset which matches the internet speed. So that is why, and in some lines, which I'll say is uh, that book helps you love yourself. That book helps you focus on yourself and to do the things, multiply your own capacities and abilities. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so
You're
much,
welcome.
sir.
Yes, any other? Manoj Kumar. Yes, please.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Ye-
I think
Good
good morning
afternoon.
now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Sir, my name is Manoj Kumar. I'm working as an assistant professor and MEDAT in a education college. My question
Yes.
is related to the career counseling basically. I love counseling for the student, but now I want to be a formal counselor. So I want to know, sir, what are the key skills I must have in myself to be a career counselor or to be an effective career counselor? This is my first question, sir.
Okay.
So,
Right.
so after that, I have a second question also, but I would like to listen the first one, sir.
Sure. Sure. So, Manoj sir, see, to be a successful career counselor, you need to be a learner. That is the foremost thing I would like to say. Suppose uh, I am a career counselor. Now I am a career counselor. I can tell you what are the things I focus upon. Uh, I think myself as a student, first of all. If I think myself as a student, what informations I need to know. For example, I'll tell you. Recently, a notification was there in terms of the GATE examinations. Nowadays, as you must be aware, GATE examination is also open to humanities. GATE examination is also open to psychology students, philosophy students, literature students, linguistic students. So if that notification is there, as a career counselor, my first and prior focus was go through that notification, go through the website, dig deep into it. So when I dig deep into it, they have given the entire list. Okay, how many people appeared for this examination? How many registered for this examination? Suppose then micro niche. Please remember, micro niche is a thing which you need to do. Means every segmentalization out of interest only. Okay, I went over there. I saw okay, how many people registered for the physics gate examination? What is the gate examination for? How many people registered for it? Then there are classification that this was the cutoff for this category. This was the cutoff for this category. So how many people are going over it? How many people are giving that examination? How many are registering? What is the outcome? What is the result over there? So this was an interest. So if similar interest I take into the other fields. Suppose engineering stream is there. I take interest how many people are have appeared on it. How many students are taking into it. This is the first aspect. Second aspect. Am I able to touch upon the mindset issue of those into the going to take into a career? So what is the mindset? If someone is good at dramatics, then do I have the knowledge of the yellow collar jobs which are coming up? Yellow collar jobs which are out of the conventional jobs, not engineering, not medicine. These yellow collar jobs are the ones which are talking about radio jockey. We're talking about the designer. And then the culmination of jobs. Like you have the marine archaeologist. You know something of history, you know something of zoology. Are you combining these two things? So, am I thinking of these terms? So, it is a matter of getting updated as a learner.
So once you get yourself updated and keep the tracks of the growth and development of the different careers, and listening, and again you have the Harvard University professors over there and other professors, they are talking about the subjects they are teaching, the upcoming subjects. Now when I talk, not only in terms of science and arts, but and medicines, but also I talk in terms of the careers coming up in finance. So, as an inquisitive learner, suppose I am a student of chartered accountancy, and I think that taking chartered accountancy for me is a blunder. Then what I can take is, can I take CFP, Certified Financial Planning, or can I take the upcoming uh, fields which are there in accountancy? So if I go into it, if I go and watch a YouTube video, then I'll get to know what is the difference between a CFP USA, what is the difference between a CFP on another place, and what is there for a chartered accountant. Suppose a chartered accountant wants to get a job somewhere in UK. What can this person do? So the case studies would help you a lot. And before that case studies, your interest would help you a lot. Now, there are things when I say, okay, when a student comes with a question, then I'll start searching on it. That is always there. But before that, as a career counselor, if I have interest in all these areas, if I develop a knack, okay, of knowing, okay, what is over there, if I go to the curriculum of these universities, what all these universities are offering, then what are the scholarships the universities are offering? NYU Abu Dhabi offering 100% scholarship. What is the requirement for that one? This is the same reason why many students over there in metropolitan cities are flooding into those sports coaching complexes. They are learning like all other skills. They are taking part in MUNs. What is the reason behind it? Because these universities are giving 100% scholarship. To get that scholarship, what you do is to make your mark. So these are the things which are required to become a good career counselor, because there is nothing called as best in career counseling, because it is an emerging field, and every time there are now at present there are 729 careers. Can you imagine that? And more are coming up.
Okay, sir. Thank you. My second question is related to a particular test. Sir, which types of tests nowadays are, we can say, just to choose a particular career? What types of tests are there? Sir?
See,
Psychometric test,
uh,
I would say.
one test which is quite reliable, quite useful, and quite handy for anyone to do is the MBTI test. You can have the abridged version of the MBTI test. Even at the Launch My Career site, you can go and take this test. Anyone can take this test free of cost. So and it takes not more than 5 minutes to take this test. So this test will help you know your personality style, will help you know what kind of career is best suited for this or that personality style. Suppose if someone is an introvert, then this would suggest you careers in which introvert people can make their mark. But apart from that, it is also telling the learner from which aspect they will derive their energies, and then what manner they will take their decisions. Some people take their own small decision based on datas, and some take the decision based on their hunches. Okay, I want this thing, so that is why I'll go for it. So this will help the learners identify their personality style, and then directly you can suggest, okay, these careers would be suitable for you, because these all combination will help the people. So it is a combination of your own personality style plus your ability to take decisions.
Okay, sir. Sir, the last question is, what about dermatoglyphics multiple intelligence test, sir?
See, dermatoglyphics again, one problem is that it does away with the uniqueness of every learner. We all human beings are unique, we all have unique experiences. So only by that aspect it is very difficult to say that I am really built up I'm really made up for that career. So that is why I'll say it's not doing the complete justice to the learners.
So we can add on with this test with MBTI.
Yeah, that would be a better choice, I will say.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome, Manoj.
Do we have any other questions? A touch of gratitude and courtesy always goes a long way in building and maintaining relationships. And respecting the time anybody expends on you is a fundamental responsibility in a humane society. Sir, important pointers stated by you like continuous upgradation with the technology, enhancing our skills, creating mind maps for students for better understanding and retention, having micro civilization in almost everything which we will be doing, identifying our strengths and making a mark, investing good time in making our resumes as per the needs of the employers, finding out ways how we can differentiate ourselves from the normal, look for diversified opportunities, understanding the requirements of every profile, the concept of self love, finding out the gray areas which have not been explored, and lastly, but being open to learning, being open to experiences. All this will surely be remembered by us and implemented upon. I will now request Dr. Professor Mahima ma'am to kindly propose the vote of thanks.
Just a minute. Thank you. Thank you, Anurupa, for inviting me. But before proposing a vote of thank, Dr. Rishi Mishra, I would like to ask one personal question, very personal. I have seen your profile. You
Yes.
belongs to medical family.
Yeah.
Almost all family members are in doctors and in the field of medical. So at what stage you find you are not comfortable in medical and you chosen a different field? So my student would like, because every I found in my career also, at the family also, everybody is struggling for where we can stand and how we can stand and what are the comfortable zone and what is my area of interest. Everybody is struggling for that. So how they can identify these challenges or opportunity, we can say in the form.
Right.
Would like to ask.
Yeah. So it's a very nice question. It gives me an opportunity to again open up many new things which I have gone through this in this process. Particularly, I'll say is that being a different learner, I'll say, because since my schooling days, I'm focusing more on self-help books. I'm focusing on yes, you can win. These are the two books which I always focused upon, and which and again the number of opportunities which were given to me. I was uh, given the responsibility to set up a trauma counseling camp at Nithari after that incident, and it was covered by the complete media. There, I uh, had this opportunity to discuss with people the a particular kind of counseling model, Egan's model of counseling, which was very helpful in that moment of time. And at that moment of time, counseling was not that popularized. But again, people started gaining more interest into it. Second thing was that with a love for nature, with a love for the natural things, since childhood I didn't have that tendency to take up any medicine, because in that family of doctors everyone is hell bent upon taking medicines. That is a problem, I will say, because if you open any of the almirah in my parents house, you will have lots of medicine loaded inside it, and every problem has a medicine. You name it and they will have a medicine for it. Problem is that conventional areas methods don't work. In all of my profiles, even in in my CV, you can see a man wearing spectacles. But the good part is now I am not wearing spectacles. I don't need it now because me and my wife, we are both following something called as the balanced and natural and controlled diet and in lifestyle. So it's been almost 7 years. I've done away with television. I don't watch TV. I don't glance at the newspapers so that I am able to focus on deep work. Second thing is I am becoming active in selecting what I need to watch. I go to YouTube or any other channel, I watch this particular thing. So I'm not taking in the garbage which is all there outside. Fine. Second thing is, I started on with this natural lifestyle, stopped sugar because when I went to Africa, people, the Norwegian psychiatrists used to call it as white poison. Then we understood that this is really important to put an end to it. We develop a mindset. We developed a mindsets telling us constantly and gathering all the information that this is a white poison. So ultimately, whenever we went to any sweet shop, then we reminded ourselves this is a white poison. What happened was ultimately our health started getting improved to such an extent that I since I think 2020 or I think 2021, my eye glasses, my numbers, the numbers over there were changing constantly. So I went from this optometrician to the next one to the next and then third and fourth. Ultimately, the time came and the optometrician said, you don't need these glasses because wearing those glasses was becoming painful for me. Since class 10th, I was wearing glasses, but now I'm not wearing glasses, reaching at the age of 44. So what is the reason? Because I was astonished myself because people were telling me, okay, at this age, what you have to do is now your nearsightedness will start giving you troubles. But no, not at all. So and again, I this is not my own invention. I learned from many people. I learned from Professor John Messers, who was there in Addis Ababa University. He was a person of 78 years and he was more healthy. He was dancing on the streets and we were kind of sick people at that age, 30, 35, something like that. Uh, we were kind of very sick people and then say, okay, no, we can do it. But he was dancing. So what was the reason? He adopted certain things. He was like having wheat grass juice every day. So this was, and when I told this thing to my family parents, and then there was not, they were like confused. Okay, how can it happen? Because everyone knows. And then I went to read those manuals and books. Even there is a story in Sindbad the tailor. If I have time, I'll share that story with you. Sindbad the tailor, he met a person who told him that your eyesight is weak, you should wear a glasses. Problem is, we all wear glasses, but in reality, the glasses distort our vision. So if we can adopt a different lifestyle altogether, we'll have a better health and then start seeing the improvements in our own self. So I will say is one aspect of this. Second aspect is there is a kind of truth which I have discovered that what God gives you uh, is best, is better, and what God does not give you at that moment of time is best because He has always a better plans for you to develop. If you have faith in a good destiny, I'll only say if you have faith in good destiny, then what all you do would be a miracle. This I have realized. So what all you do, you will start loving it, and then slowly by slowly, it will start giving you results. So not only in terms of health, but also in terms of career. What I've seen is because there is one thing: if we are not cut out for that career, then it is always best to change our path, to deviate from that path, because something good is also waiting for you. Now, because of not being into that medical field, I am not hell bent upon taking medicines, and ultimately, I could improve my health, and ultimately, I could have a better lifestyle. So something are there to help us. And again, when talking about the challenges, I say yes, it is full of challenges. I have traveled to many countries. I've been with many organizations, but the only thing which kept me running was these insight from these books which I was reading throughout, especially these motivational books and the quotes over there. I am regular reader of the quotes over there, which are there in these competitive magazines, and they are really very good. Even as an educator, we can always use them to kind of energize our students, because all of us are like batteries. Morning we start off with 100% battery. When the day keeps on going, at the end of the day our battery is 20% only. But it is not for all. Some are like night owls. They learn better in the night. So if you are a learner, appearing for an exam, appearing for a competition, giving an interview, it is altogether a different task. It will require something which is called as the deep work. So I'll try to hand over that deeper book to all the learners. Maybe if you can start, if you can extract few lines from it, it will help us all a lot in gaining the things.
Thank you, Dr. Rishi Mishra. Uh,
You're
uh,
welcome.
so nicely you depicted your journey also. Uh, First of all, I have found in your talks, 1.5 hours talks, you every time put a word, mindset.
Yeah.
So many times you repeated again and again mindset. So in your talks, I found that mindset is the important part of teaching, learning, occupation, uh, professional life, family life, where we want to stand ourselves, where we want to establish or where we are starting our journey. First of all, we should learn the art how we can read the mind of
Yes.
the person. Doesn't matter he or she is employer, employee, student, teacher, employee, heads, anywhere we should learn that how we can know the mindset of who is standing in front of us. So thank you very much. On behalf of MIT Institute of Education, I propose my vote of thanks to heartfelt thanks to Dr. Rishi Mishra, first of all, for nice presentation, session, and the eye opener thoughts you have given us, and you have given new ideas. We should focus on skill development, video, CV. We should be expertise in our area. We should connect creator, motivator, facilitator, and first and foremost, we must focus on the new ideas. That is the beauty of your session. That was the beauty of your session. And you have given the emphasis on resilience also. That is a most required part of today's scenario, because at this time we have seen a lot of vibrant, different personalities in classroom, everywhere, because of teacher, future teacher. We are in front of future teacher, then we will find a different, vibrant, different mindset, different personalities, individualities in front of us. So how we can be stabilized there, how we can survive in that scenario, we must learn this art we have found in your session. So thank you very much. And you have given one idea, first impression is the last impression. Yes, very true. It should be. For being good entrepreneur, to be a good teacher, to be a good uh, listener, to be a good promoter, to be a good teacher, we must be listener also, because listening is the listening, not only listening but understanding. So we found this. Thank you very much, and my sincere thanks to our management, our VC ma'am, our inspiring HOI Professor Alka Mutkal ma'am, PL Dr. Seema Agnihotri, Dr. Rasna Solanki, and our colleague we have with us Dr. Neetu Mishra ma'am, Pratimal Saxena ma'am, and we have with us from Lucknow campus also Professor Dr. Mala Tandon ma'am, who is the director and head of Lucknow campus AIE. And we have Dr. Sushant, Professor Dr. Sushant Rol, and other faculty member from AI, Dr. Anshu Mathur also is there. So my thanks to all of you for listening, and I hope you have found something new from this session. And really it was a wonderful session, and I have learned a lot from your session and
Truly,
from,
ma'am, it was very enriching one, and
yes.
yeah, we are now moving forward to our next session also, which is lined up. So I had to
Yes, you are
turn on
ready
my
for the
the
summit.
alumni interaction
Yes,
here.
yes.
Yeah,
So
and
we are
it was
binding.
really enriching, Dr. Mishra. We
Yes.
we enjoyed your session and all the points